So y'all want to know my thoughts on Garcia versus Davis. Well, it's hard to call the fight, but it's a good 50-50 fight. My hat goes off to both sides, both the promoters, both teams, both fighters exclusively, really first, because they had to want to make the fight. The fans want the fights, but the fighters have to want them as well. These two fighters wanted this fight, and this is a great thing. So I applaud both of them. Ryan even more for going through all the concessions that he had to go through. But yeah, because Tank is a little bit more accomplished already, sometimes you got to meet him in the middle. So that's pretty good. Ryan's a very tough, sharp competitor, has a lot of great amateur experience, has some pretty good tie-ups with some pretty good names as an amateur, and has come on to be a pretty good professional. The only flaw we saw in his armor so far is that he did go down one time from a headshot, but just boxing, who can't do that? So with that being said, in my opinion, because he's a taller guy, he should jump out to the early lead and try to hold that lead for as long as he can. His job would be to get the lead, then to sustain the lead. Now, if you go out and fight trading bombs with Tank, I don't know for a fact that he can or can't do that, so it's not me to say that, but just from the way he's built, from their DNA, which is what I judge a lot of things by, I would say he'd do himself better to go out and box Tank early, try to get a lead, try to inflict as much punishment as he can, and hope that carries him through the last half of the fight. Tank, on the other hand, is also a very sophisticated fighter who has a pretty good track record and who also had a very good amateur career. The thing about Tank is that Mike Tyson of that division. He's the puncher. Ryan can punch too, but Tank's a different kind of puncher than Ryan is. Ryan's a very sharp knockout puncher. Tank is a thudding knockout puncher, so it's a little bit different. That being said, though, Tank usually, when he fights guys who are a little bit taller or guys who are pretty good boxers, sometimes he'll fall behind because he's a shorter fighter. But he knows in his heart and his mind that eventually Tank gonna get what Tank want. So that's why they call him Tank. A Tank just keeps on rolling. Tank just keeps on coming till he get what they want. So with that being said, it's Tank's job and his responsibility to not take too much damage early in the fight, so that later in the fight, he's the better fighter. Because if he can make it late and become the better fighter, then he may make Garcia make some mistakes. Hopefully, in his case, hopefully he makes Garcia make some mistakes so that he can land a big bump. And we know that we've seen Garcia down before by a little bit lesser puncher than Tank. So if Tank hits him clean, who knows? Yet, at the same time, boxing's a strange game. A lot of people could knock Tommy Hearns out. Well, Sugar Ray Leonard wasn't, because of Tommy Hearns and his mind, his heart. A lot of people probably could get Sugar Ray Leonard out of there, but Tommy Hearns got a lot of people out of there. They won't get Sugar Ray Leonard out of there because of their mind and their heart. So sometimes when guys get that connection, it's hard for one guy to knock the other out. And in this case, it could be the case. In this situation, it could be the case, because these guys both are willing to put their O's on the line to prove that they're the best in that between junior light and junior welterweight division right now. The 130 to 140 division is stacked right now. So to see two guys with O's going head to head is a big thing. Then to follow that, you let Devin gonna put his O on the line against one of the top pound fighters of all time, in my opinion, Vasily Lomachenko. And I think Devin is definitely on my top 10 list now, so that's another good one coming right after us. But Tank and Garcia, I feel like they opened the floodgate. Now everybody got to start fighting, or the fans don't want to see it no more. This is definitely the type of fight that makes boxing fans excited, because it's a 50-50. You pick them. You can't say, oh, Tank will go out and dominate Ryan. No, he's not. You can't say, Ryan will go out and dominate Tank. No, he's not. These guys are very top level fighters. Who dominates probably is not going to dominate right away. It's going to take a little bit before the person who's going to dominate starts to dominate. And even when he starts to dominate, it's still dangerous, because the other guy can hit the home run at any time. The other guy can kick the game-winning field goal at any time. Both of these guys can punch. Both of these guys can bang. Both of these guys can score a 12-round knockout. That's what makes it exciting for the fans. What I like about Tank's style is Tank is a little bit more multi-dimensional than people think he is. Tank has a very, very good game, a good box of tools up here. I was explaining to one of my fighters one day about how, in my opinion, how good of a boxer Tank is that he doesn't get credit for. Because if you look at him with the naked eye and don't understand boxing, you just see a hard-hitting guy who's short but can punch. But if you look at him through from a boxing point of view that knows what you're looking at, Tank really has tools. I've used Tank several times in film sessions, showing my fighters how to do things that I teach them to set up to do. Tank is a very good fighter, very efficient fighter, very smart fighter. The only downside to Tank is sometimes he'll get a little lackluster and he'll fall behind because mentally he'll be in and out, or he'll be trying to do one thing and lose a little time. But if he ever catches back up to you, he gonna get you, because he does have a very high IQ in boxing, and a lot of people underestimate that, but I see it. What I like about Ryan's style is Ryan is more like a sharpshooter. Ryan always is sharp as attack, always throwing good pull on his punches, very explosive punches. Not a lot of people can have that explosiveness, because what people don't understand is that the explosiveness is what allows you to take your power with you anywhere you go. And for instance, like Tank won belts at 130, Tank won belts at 140, because he's explosive, so he can take that anywhere he goes. Ryan also has that, and Ryan is a little bit longer armed puncher than Tank though. Tank is more, in my opinion, he's more the Mike Tyson type of bang with the looping shots, because he's not so tall and he's not so rangy, but he has really good snap and good explosion on his punches. Ryan has more of the longer armed snap and effective punches. And with that being said, if he boxes, he should be able to get to Ryan first, and we'll see how get to Tank first, and we'll see how Tank accepts that and how Tank deals with it. Then we'll see Tank get to Ryan later, if the fight goes where we think it will. However, if Ryan goes and sits and goes toe to toe, may the best chin win. It's a crazy thing, but that's two guys that really want to fight, that really believe they can beat one another. To me, the promoters, is their job to kind of hold that back and let them think what they're getting is going to be put on the line, because it makes for a great fight with them thinking that their purse is on the line. But that also could cause somebody to be reckless and fight a fight that they probably shouldn't fight. That could be potentially dangerous. So, putting it all on the line like that, it could be dangerous for either fighter. I think it's more dangerous for Ryan than it is Tank, because, in my opinion, Tank wants to just try to get to Ryan's chin. Ryan thinks he can get to Tank's chin too, but don't think we really seen Tank down yet. Now, we ain't seen him in with a puncher besides Rolly, in my opinion, that can probably punch like Ryan, but Rolly had a little problem setting his punches up. You can kind of see Rolly's coming. Ryan's are not the same. You can't really see Ryan's coming. But at the same time, like I said, for me, Ryan being the taller fighter, the longer fighter, why would you give him that chance by trading punches with him early? So if you got a bet and that bet causes you to lose discipline, that could turn out to be a bad thing. Good bet though, because I like the fact that both of them think they can win. That's what us as fans want to see. We want to see two guys that both think they can win the fight. That makes for a great fight for us. Tank just gotta withstand the early onslaught, keep his mind right, don't try to get too much at one time, and wait for the opportunity, wait for the perfect opportunity. For Ryan to get it down, Ryan needs to go out, get an early lead, try to inflict as much damage on Tank as he can early, so that in the late rounds he won't be so dangerous. All in all, a betting man, I'm not a betting man because I love boxing too much. But I'm just glad that the public is getting an opportunity to see two really great fighters fight. And these guys, trust me, this is a fight between two of the tops. Both guys have old, neither one trying to protect it. They want to prove who's better of the two. And when that happens, hopefully that's going to carry on throughout the whole division. And hopefully, potentially, all the other divisions will see the same thing and they'll follow suit. Because that's what boxing has gotten away from, but they just opened the door to get us back headed in the right direction. My prediction would be that it's going to be a great fight. You sit down, get your popcorn, get ready and watch it, and pay close attention to both of them. Crazy, but going back in the days, the 135 pounders, I think my time's a little different, but my all-time favorite 135 pounders, I might have to make it 4 because, but number 1 would have been Roberto Duran because he started at 135. That was his main dominating weight class. He moved up from 135 and gave Sugar his first loss at 147. Sugar came back and avenged that loss, but at 147, then it went on and went from 160 to give Marvin all he want. Went on to 168, give Camacho all he want. I mean, he did a lot of things, but he started at 135. Not many guys can start at 135 and find themselves at super middleweight. Matter of fact, the only 2 guys I can remember to do it would have been Roberto Duran. Maybe Hector Camacho if he didn't start at 140. I think he started at 135, but I'm not sure. But I know for a fact Roberto Duran did it, and I know for a fact Vinny Pazienza did it. They both started at 135. And I know for a fact because I fought Vinny at 168. My very second professional fight, he had the main event. I was the co-main event. He had a fight against Vinny Bergasi at 135 pounds in my second pro fight. He and I later fought after he went through a broke neck and all that at 168. Tell me how many people can truly move up that many weight classes and still be effective. Not many. Third, which is he probably my number 2 favorite 135 pounder, is Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker. Sweet Pea didn't care about who it was, where it was, when it was. Sweet Pea got it done. You hear me? Sweet Pea went up. To me, I thought he won several fights that they didn't give him late in his career. Probably wasn't really a big fan favorite because he didn't do things where people really wanted to see guys do things, but he definitely was in my top 5, my top 3 at 135. It would probably be him, Roberto Duran, and the last guy who I'm gonna mention that was a 135 pounder that started at 135, and to me, this was definitely his best weight class, and a lot of people may have forgotten about it, but Sugar Shane Mosley was a beast at 135. 135, I don't think many guys really beat Sugar Shane Mosley. He was a monster at 135. So them probably my 3 to 4 top picks. Like I said, I don't know if Camacho started at 35 or 40, but he was pretty good for weight class. But number 1, 2, and 3 would be Roberto Duran, Pernell Whitaker, Sugar Shane Mosley.